record. So, hi, welcome to the Save the Frogs webinar. This is Dr. Kerry Kriger, founder and executive director of Save the Frogs.
Kerry.
Hi. And we're very happy to have Gilbert Adum here. Gilbert is the co-founder of Save the Frogs Ghana and the executive director, and he is going to be talking all about Ghana's amazing amphibians and the incredible work that they are doing over there in Ghana to protect them. Gilbert, take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Kerry. I welcome everybody to Save the Frogs Ghana presentation about our success stories so far. My name is Gilbert Adum, the executive director and co-founder of Save the Frogs Ghana. Last week, Save the Frogs Ghana, we became 3 years. Started in 2011 when Kerry came over to Ghana in September, and then we set it up. And for 3 years now, there have been so much successes, but we couldn't have been able to achieve what we have achieved for Ghana and then for Africa without your help. Most of you have been donating to us for the past 3 years, and this has brought us thus far. We are grateful. The month of August, this is Sandra, Save the Frogs Ghana program coordinator. She was the personality for the month of August. Save the Frogs Ghana congratulates Sandra, and we wish her the best on behalf of all of you in saving Ghana's frogs. This is me, Gilbert Adum. At the moment, I'm talking to you from the UK, specifically the University of Nottingham. They are hosting me as I go on tours. I left Germany 2 weeks ago, and I've been talking about Ghana's frogs and trying to raise funds to be able to run our programs effectively. So what have we been able to achieve? When Kerry came in 2011, we were just 2 amphibian biologists, myself and a board member, Dr. Caleb Ofori. Today, this is a testimony. You have 14 people just this year alone. Last year, you had others graduating, working on frogs, but this year, it has been historic. Not for only frogs, I mean, when you put all wildlife together, this is the highest in Ghana that you have a group of people like this 14 graduating, working on the same wildlife taxa. So let me chip in here that there were 30 students, and we had 14 of them working on frogs. So about 50% of the whole class decided to work on frogs for their bachelors. So now we have the number increasing to be able to save Ghana's frogs. In 2011, Adumaku was our first, there were 2 people we awarded our small grants to for their projects. This gentleman was one of them, and today he has decided to study for his master's working on frogs. That is another plus for the efforts that we are implementing here in Ghana and Africa. Now, there haven't been any historic record of anyone, any woman who has worked on frogs in Ghana and even West Africa. You have these 2 beautiful ladies. In fact, there are 4 of them, and you have 2 of them working on their masters. This is important to Ghana's frogs because Sandra and Hamdia and the other 2 are able to talk to the women who are always, they have to sell, take the frogs to the market and sell to make money. they have to cook the frogs, they have to encourage their husbands to go out to the field to catch, to hunt for frogs. So Sandra and her colleagues will be able to talk to them, and hopefully that will reduce frog harvesting in Ghana and then Africa for that matter. The story of the giant squeaker frog, it has not been easy for Save the Frogs Ghana. We have been fighting and fighting to make sure that this frog survives. There are only 13 individuals since 2011 that we have known to be surviving. You may want to know what are the causes of its endangerment. The number one is an alien weed called Cromolina odorata. That is the weed you can find there. So what it does is it takes over all the leaf litter, and this frog depends on the leaf litter, but the weed takes over all the leaf litter, and the frog has no place to be able to lay its eggs. And that has been one of the disasters causing the frog to go extinct or to be endangered. Another serious problem is illegal logging. This is just one of about 50 photos at different places that we took in the forest, and then the only forest where this frog occurs. Massive illegal logging activities across its home. You also have this. This is a tree that the local people set fire. Usually this is what they do, and then the tree at a point, of course, will fall off, and then they chop that into pieces to make charcoal. Charcoal is what in Ghana you have about 70% of the population depending on for their fuel for cooking. And you have the local people doing this in the home of the giant squeaker frog. But you may wonder, so is there any hope at all that this giant squeaker frog will be able to survive in the face of all these stress? Yes, we are saying yes. With the support that we have had from you and from other donors around the world, we are making progress. One of them is we've been able to clear a portion of the forest where you have it infested with weeds. So that's a Sandra and school kids helping to remove the weeds from the squeaker's home. You also have a farm like this that many farms, we had about 10 of them that we had the support of the local people and the chiefs, and then we got all those farms destroyed. This is a farm that is established, or it was established right in the middle of the forest where the giant squeaker frog occurs. So there's no leaf litter here, and then it will not be able to survive. So what we did here was to destroy all the crops on those farms. And immediately after destroying the crops and removing the weeds, we planted 2,000 seedlings of native trees in the places of where we removed the weeds and then the crops. This was to be able to get native vegetation coming back so that the giant squeaker frog can depend on it, and then its recovery from extinction will be something that we are sure of. Not only that, the future of the giant squeaker frog will depend on young kids like this, because they grow up to be responsible adults, and then the giant squeaker frog is safe. Otherwise, we will still be in trouble. So we involve them in all the activities, and then they got to learn, and they are still learning about the giant squeaker frog and other frogs in their neighborhood. So far we've had more than 1,000 kids that we have educated to be able to be conscious of the environment in terms of amphibians or frogs. So in the region where the giant squeaker frog occurs, we've been talking to school children from one school to another, and here you can see them at a parade, and they're always excited to hear about the giant squeaker frog and other frogs. And of course, Ghana is said that all the forests belong to the chiefs. That the person wearing with the watch, you can see, as the king of the village where the giant squeaker frog occurs. So the good news is he is supporting us, and he has given us the permission to be able to do whatever we can do to get the giant squeaker frog and other frogs coming back. And of course, it will also take the international front to be able to raise more awareness about the plight of the giant squeaker frog. And we've been able to do that. This was an article we published in the IUCN Amphibian Specialist Group newsletter, which raised more awareness about the giant squeaker frog. Here we're arguing, and hopefully we know they will take it, that the giant squeaker frog gets listed as critically endangered, because if you have just 13 individuals, it is the most endangered amphibian in Ghana, and we don't see any reason why it should not be listed as critically endangered. So here we wrote about that. It's not all about the giant squeaker frog. Save the Frogs Ghana, we are implementing several projects around the country. This is a project at KNUST, Ghana's premier university, about a river called the WEWE River, where you have 12 frogs occurring, but the river is being degraded, being polluted, and being threatened from all sides. So we are involving the university community to be able to restore the river. Here you have some of the students who are helping out, talking to the university authorities and talking to their colleague students to be able to protect the river for the sake of the frogs and, of course, other biodiversity. You may wonder, so is that all for Save the Frogs Ghana? No, this is just what I told you. It's just the beginning of things. We have other things in line. Even before the year is over, we hope to be able to meet these goals, and with your help, we'll be able to do that. So the next line of action is to be able to find more giant squeaker frogs in where it occurs. We know that with efforts, increased efforts, we'll be able to find more of the frogs, and then we'll be able to protect them wherever they are. So there are still weeds. We just removed like 20% of the weeds that occurred there, and this time around, from this month, from next week, we'll be going back to remove more of the weeds, and then in the place we'll replant all those areas with native trees. But as I said, it's not all about the giant squeaker frog. Here you find the Togo slippery frog. It is found in the Atewa forest, and here you have local people exploiting the forest for minerals, and you have government also having plans to mine the forest for minerals. But you have the frog occurring in only that place, the whole world, and is the largest relative to the world's largest frog. In other words, it's the closest relative to the world's largest frog. So we see no reason why we should allow a frog like this to go extinct. So we are doing all that we can. We are going to intensify more of our campaigns, going to schools as usual, talking to the chiefs, and then talking to government ministers and other politicians to be able to make sure that this forest is protected. Up north, we have a football club, the Save the Frogs football club. Here you have the kids hunting frogs. I've always said this, and although sometimes I regret, because I acted in ignorance. I ate frog meat myself when I was growing up, So what we decided to do is to set up a football club like this so that we make sure we take the attention of kids away from hunting frogs. And soccer is very huge in Ghana. So you have these kids growing to love football and loving frogs as well. And then they become footballers, which will, of course, boost their economic status and that of their families. This is the only means, and possibly, or one of the means, but for now, we have identified this to be the most important means to be able to get kids away from hunting frogs. But we need more money to be able to do this. We need to train the kids effectively. We need to get them to talk to their colleagues about saving the frogs, about stopping hunting frogs. So we need to be able to provide more footballs. We provided footballs when Michael Starkey, the chairman of Save the Frogs, was here in Ghana. We provided footballs, but these footballs are spoiled now. And then other things that they will need. So we need to be able to raise money, more money, to be able to support their kids. So, Kerry and all of you, it's a great pleasure meeting you online and talking about our efforts. I thank all of you for listening, and thank you very much for all the support that you've given to Save the Frogs Ghana for the past 3 years. Indeed, you are making us a star of Africa's environmental revolution. We thank you.
Thank you very much, Gilbert, for your presentation and for all of your efforts. It's really incredible to see all that you guys are doing, and we wish you the best of luck.